Hello again, and welcome to Verbling. I'm Teacher Oakley, and for the next hour, we are going to be looking at idioms that have to do with gardens and flowers and plants and wonderful things like that. Okay, we're going to be learning these idioms through a mixture of discussion, and I will try to bring up or mention any related idioms, and I'll try to illustrate or show how or when these idioms are used, because many idioms are used in certain situations to talk about someone else, for example, or only to talk about yourself, or only really in business, things like that. I'll try to clarify for you. We'll be doing some exercises together as well, fill in the blank. And please do share with me any idioms in your own native language that may be similar, or maybe they're different, but they have the same purpose or the same meaning. I'm always interested to hear that stuff. Okay, so let me start by saying hello and checking your microphones. Hello, Fernanda.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Fine.
Okay. Welcome to the class. Where are you from, Fernanda?
I'm from Colombia.
Colombia. Excellent. Okay. Nice to have you here. And I'll talk to you in just a minute. Hello, Oksana.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good guess. Okay. Good morning. How are you? Haven't seen you in a few days.
I'm from Kazakhstan.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. But of course, I know that, you know. Okay. Very good. Do you have gardens in Kazakhstan?
Yes, we have gardens.
Perfect. Well, okay then. Okay, do you garden, actually, Oksana? Do you do any gardening?
No, now not. Before my auntie have gardening, had gardening, and yes, we just only take some fruit from this gardening. Straw, tomato. Not. I don't like gardening.
Okay, it's hard work. All right. So you didn't do any gardening, okay, doing the actions involved in gardening. You just raided the garden and took the fruits and vegetables. Okay. How about you, Fernanda? Do you ever do any gardening?
I'm sorry, I don't know what is gardening.
Well, a garden is a place, first of all, you can grow beautiful flowers and shrubbery and trees, or you can have a vegetable garden and vegetables and fruit.
Okay. What?
Right.
Could you repeat me the question, please?
Sure. I asked if you ever do any gardening, or if you have done any gardening, which is the actual work involved. Planting the seeds and digging the hole and pulling out the weeds and
Okay. Really? I never have done some plant. But in my house, there is a yard with with big flowers. But my mom, actually, my mom is who do that work. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, your mom does.
Yes.
Okay.
When I was a child, with my brother used to play in the yard, and always we damaged that.
You damaged the garden.
Yeah.
So you did anti-gardening and destroying the garden. Okay, I see. Okay, interesting. All right, Luo, welcome to the class. Hello, hello.
Hello, Oakley. Did you
Hi.
have your meal?
Not yet. After this class,
Okay,
I'll be having
that,
lunch.
that that's
A
fine.
little
That's fine.
delayed. Yeah. You're always so worried about my nutrition. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Okay, we're gonna talk gardening. We're gonna talk about idioms, but I would like to start with some basic literal meanings, dictionary meanings. You guys don't seem like you're very much gardeners, so we're gonna look at some literal meanings, definitions of words that have to do with gardens and planting and plants. All right, I'm going to do a screen share. Here we go. We're going to start with a fill in the blank exercise. I would like you to read the sentence and choose one of the bold words in italics here above to fill in the blank. Okay, Fernanda, you were first in the class, so go ahead. Go ahead and read the sentence and attempt to fill in the blank.
Okay. Literal meanings. Gardens are and plants provide.
Okay.
Okay. The first.
Yeah, you can just. I did the intro. You can just do the exercise. Okay.
Another name for a large greenhouse is glass house.
Very good. Absolutely correct. When I was a kid, they were called a glass house. Okay. Do you know what a greenhouse is, Fernanda?
I think it's like the yard. The yard.
Not exactly. It actually is a house. It is a house which is constructed of glass, most likely, or now we have different plastics that can be used, I believe. Anyway, a greenhouse can be fully functional in the middle of winter, even when it's cold, because the sun's rays, it's glass, so the sun shines in all the time, and the glass traps the heat. So the heat can't come back out, and it stays nice and warm to grow plants. So it's a specific building for growing plants, which is made of grass.
Okay.
Okay. So although humans fully understand and see and operate, and everybody totally gets a greenhouse works. You see greenhouses in the middle of a snowy field. We all understand that if we trap the heat, it stays a lot hotter. Some reason people don't seem to understand that about the Earth. Well, anyway, so you may have heard of the greenhouse effect. This is the effect of trapping the sunlight in the Earth's atmosphere, which is going to make it hotter. Not to mention the rise in CO2. Okay, so you've probably heard of the greenhouse effect. That is the same effect you see in a greenhouse. Okay, Oksana, number 2.
Before farms can plant a crop, they first have to pluck
Okay.
the fire.
Well, you picked the right word. You're on the right track. This is the weird. Well, it's weird to me. The weird English spelling, P-L-O-U-G-H. Americans would spell this P-L-O-W, plow, which seems a little easier to understand in my opinion. Okay, they have to plow the field. That means they use a plow to dig up the dirt. You turn the earth, actually. Farmers, at least American farmers, may even say we have to turn the fields. That means they have to plow the field. Okay, what they're doing, they're mixing the dirt around to mix the chemicals, the nitrates, and also to oxygenate, to mix gases and various minerals around in the dirt to help the plants grow, and so they have holes where they can plant the seeds. Okay, Luo, number 3.
Yes, you find a flower at the end of the stem of a plant.
Right.
Stem.
Okay. Stem. That's right.
Stem.
The stem is the thick part of a plant. Okay. If it's a tree, we call it a tree trunk. We don't call it a tree stem. Trees are much bigger, obviously. So what would be a stem of a flower, of a rose, for example, would be a trunk of a tree. The main part of the plant, in other words. Very good. Thank you. Hello, Nader. Hello again. Hello. Okay, we're typing. Okay. Number 4, Nader. All right. Children love to build houses in the something of trees. In the branches. Okay. The branches are the parts that come out from the tree trunk. They spread out from the tree trunk. Okay. Nader, okay, when you were a child, do people actually build tree houses? No, you don't have enough trees. You have different kinds of trees. Yeah. Tree houses are great. Yeah, they're great fun. Magical places when you're a child, really. Lua, do Chinese kids build tree houses ever?
I don't think so. But recently I've watched a program from the Discovery. There was experts help people build treehouse in America.
Yeah, right. I know what you mean. Like really, really nice, not like children's, slapdash constructions, but really nice tree houses. Yeah. Actually, I have friends who have trees growing up through their house, big trees. It's really cool. It's really neat. Okay. Fernanda, do Colombian children build tree houses?
No, not really. In the trees, no.
Yeah.
Actually, here, I think it happens in the movies. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. That was a lot of fun. I built a tree house when I was a kid. Most kids do. American kids, anyway. Obviously, you have to live in the country. If you live in New York City, it's kind of hard to build a tree house. Although you might sneak into Central Park and attempt it. Okay, Fernanda, number 5.
If you want your flowers to grow, you must first get rid of the the veer.
The what?
Veer?
Bear? Well, if you're talking about the animal bear, Guess he
Oh
might
no,
he might
no.
eat your flowers. Bear might eat your flowers. Oh my God, the bear ate all my flowers.
No, no, no.
Okay, that's kind of funny. Might be true. It could be true. It's grammatically, it might work, but probably not. More practically, what do you think?
Maybe maybe um, the crop.
Well, I don't think so. Crops are good. Crops are food we eat. So we're trying to get rid of. That means we're throwing it away.
Um,
So something we don't want. Bad, bad. An angry bear, of course, would be bad. Any idea? All right. A little help. Okay. Nader is absolutely correct here. Get rid of the weeds. You have to get rid of the weeds. The weeds are the plants that grow naturally. You did not plant them. Nobody plants weeds. Weeds naturally grow. They're unwanted. They're not useful to humans, but they soak up the water and they soak up the nutrients in the soil so that the flowers won't grow as well because they have too much competition. All right, Oksana, do little Kazakhstan kids build tree houses?
No, I think it's too dangerous. If branch broke, it's some problem, I think, with children.
Sure.
I don't.
Okay. I'm pretty sure American children are the most dangerous children on the earth because the things that we do, everybody. I talk to people all over the world and nobody believes me, actually, but it's very true. Yeah. Anyway.
I saw in the TV some people who live maybe in Africa or somewhere to do some house in the very high trees.
Yeah, that's so cool. I know what you mean. They even have hotels where you go into the jungle and the hotel, your room is in the tops of trees, and they have like corridors that go along the branches. Like the hallway is the branch, and you can go from room to room. Really cool. I'd love to check that out, actually. I know what you mean. It seems cool to me. Yeah. Actually, when I was a kid, I grew up in America in the Northeast. It was very, very snowy, and there might be 2 or 3 meters of snow on the ground, maybe 3 meters. So lots of snow on the ground. We would climb to the top of a pine tree where it got very narrow, very thin, and so it started to bend. And once you climb high enough, you can, after a fresh snow, after we had a lot of new snow, you could just leap out of the top of the tree, maybe, I don't know, 30 meters high. No, not 30 meters, 10 meters high. I was thinking feet. 10, 12 meters high, and just jump out of the tree and bounce on the branches in the snow. And it would tumble you around, you'd twist and tumble, and it was very fun. So not only would we build tree houses, Oksana, we'd actually jump out of the trees for fun.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay, and number 6.
Okay. Potatoes, barley, wheat, and corn are all types of root out.
No. No. Not exactly. I mentioned it earlier. Potatoes, barley, by the way, wheat, long E, wheat.
Wheat. This means don't have root?
Nope. Potatoes are roots. Okay.
Yeah.
Barley, wheat, and corn are all grains. We call them grains or cereals. They're all types of cereal. They're actually barley and wheat are types of grass. Of course, wheat is what we make flour, so to make bread.
Yes.
So this is a variety of things we eat.
Crops.
There we
Yes?
go. Crops. And yes, that's right. Any food that we purposefully grow, intentionally grow to eat are crops. And that can include fruits as well. They don't have any fruits in this list, but that may include apples, pineapples, anything. Okay, Luau, number 7.
Yes. You use a spade to dig the garden.
Indeed.
Dig, yes, but I have a question for you.
Sure.
You mentioned you leap on the tree and maybe a little bit tall. I was wondering if you have ever fell from the tree.
Fallen from a tree? No. No, I never
Well,
have.
well, you're lucky.
Wait.
I had a
Yeah.
experience when I was young.
You
Oh,
yeah.
it's a tragedy, I see. Yeah.
Did you break anything?
Um, Actually, I couldn't speak him for minutes. I want to speak him, but I cannot make any sounds from my mouth. I think there is something wrong. Maybe my spy cord have some issue a little bit at that time.
Really? Or did you just
Yeah,
knock the wind out of yourself? Okay, well.
yeah.
Okay, well, here's an idiom, by the way, since we are in an idioms class. If you knock the wind out of yourself, himself, herself, whatever, you hit yourself so hard, like falling from a tree would be a perfect example. Or I once got kicked with a soccer ball from only like 1 meter away, a very hard shot that went right in my stomach, and I just couldn't breathe. It was my diaphragm was just stuck, so I couldn't breathe, and I
Mm-hmm.
literally passed out, just because I couldn't breathe. So that's called knocking the wind out of yourself. So you definitely can't speak when you knock the wind out of yourself, because you can't breathe. You need to breathe to speak.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, use a spade to dig the garden. Okay, Nader, number 8. To keep a tree healthy, you must cut away the what? To keep a tree healthy, the dead wood. Okay, the dead branches, most older trees, you're going to see many branches that are dead. To keep it healthy, you clear away the dead wood. For bushes or shrubs, it's the same idea, but you prune them, or cut them back. Okay, you cut off starting to branches that may be starting to die or that don't look healthy. You cut them back, and then they regrow more in a more healthy way. So, dead wood can refer to the dead branches in the tree, or it can also refer to, if any of you ever walk through the forest, you're going to see dead trees and dead bushes and dead plants just kind of there on the forest floor, and that's also called dead wood. Okay, Fernanda, back to you. Number 9, please. Oops, what did I do? Hang on, let me put that back up for you. Wrong click. Okay, Fernanda, number 9.
Okay.
Oops, sorry about
Uh,
that.
just um trying to trying to root out
Very good.
a large bush or tree is one of the most difficult things to do in a garden.
Indeed it is. Very difficult to remove the root system of a tree. A lot of work. Okay, excellent. Okay, Oksana, how about number 10?
Some trees never give fruit.
Never what?
Never give fruit.
They never bear fruit is the word we use. Okay, so a woman bears children. A cat may bear kittens. A tree bears fruit. Okay, a strawberry bush. No, strawberries don't really have bushes. Raspberry bush may bear raspberries. All right. Okay, so the little, like, animals have babies and plants bear fruit. Okay, Luau, number 11.
Some plants blank by the sea while others hate it. Some plants. Please scroll up a little bit. Yeah, some plants. Some plants. Perennial. Perennial?
No, that's not it. Not perennial. I think there's
Bear.
only one more choice here, actually.
Bear.
No.
I think
no,
others
bear.
has been used.
Except for this one, flourish. We talk
Flourish.
about.
Oh,
We can talk about plants flourishing, meaning full of life and growing quickly. Children can flourish. A business can flourish. All right. If it's doing really well, it's prospering, the business is growing, and it's very healthy, then it's flourishing. So the idea is some plants flourish by the sea while others hate it. It's a common, it's a verb, actually. Flourishing is the adjective. All right, growing in a very healthy way. Nader, some fruit trees don't bear fruit, partly because some of them are cyclical, partly because they're not mature. Let's see. Mango trees take 7 years to mature. So for the first 7 years, there are no fruit. Then every 3 years, they have no fruit. They have cycles. So it depends on their cycle, and also some trees may not get pollinated, which means they won't bear fruit. They will bear flowers, but they won't bear fruit. And also some trees, believe it or not, just like animals and humans, when they get too old, they can't bear fruit anymore. Just like when people get too old or animals get too old, they can't have fruit anymore. For some species, different species to species. Yeah, so it's very much varied species to species, depending on what kind of fruit tree you're talking about. Okay. Nader, number 12. Flowers which bloom year after year are blank plants. Ones which bloom for only one time a year are called annuals. Only 1 year. Sorry, they only bloom one time, and then they're dead, and that's it. They don't come back. So those are annuals. You have to plant them every year. The other kind of flower, you plant it in the ground, and every year after the winter, it dies in the fall, and then in the spring, it magically comes back up again. It is a perennial. Okay. That's right. So With flowers especially, we talk about annuals and perennials. Of course, the problem with most plants that humans eat is that they're all annuals. So you have to replant them. They don't just magically grow again the next year. Yeah, right. That's correct. Crops are annuals, largely speaking. Okay. Now we're going to look at more idiomatic meanings. We're going to use some of the words that we have just looked at and fill in the blanks to these sentences to see if we can make them make sense with a much more idiomatic meaning. Fernanda, number 1.
Okay. Gary, I can't find last year's sales figures. Have you got a minute? Can you dig them out for me, please?
Probably a good guess. No, I mean, it is a good guess. It makes sense, and I can see why you logically would say that. But we very commonly say, can you dig them out for me, please? Okay, I might say, can you dig your car keys out of your purse for me, Fernanda? You've got to search for it a little bit. All right, something you have to search for. The freezer, my refrigerator freezer is packed with food. Can you dig out the ice cream? I think it's buried under the frozen chicken. All right, buried. And okay, you dig something that's buried. So it would also be common to use dig in conjunction with bury, of course. Buried is covered with dirt, so I could say, I'm buried in work. I need to dig myself out. Okay, that would be very common. So dig and bury go together a lot. So dig means you have to search for it somewhat, is the idea, idiomatically. Okay, Oksana, number 2.
I'll tell you why we got problems in this organization. All our problems flourish from bad communication. We need to speak to each other far more.
Well, that's also a very logical answer. However, in English, we very rarely use flourish for a negative thing, like problems. I mean, I suppose you could say the crime organization's business is flourishing, I suppose, talking about something negative. But the idea here, all our problems come from bad communication, or start from, actually. Okay. Actually, Nader and Luo have a couple suggestions. I got to say that the more likely answer is stem. Branch has more. Stem means to come from one place to another. So his inability to find a decent job stems from the fact that he quit high school in 9th grade. All right, it all comes from, it's all because of that. That's the idea. The reason he can't type well stems from the fact he has very poor eyesight. Okay, I don't know, just something like the origin of usually a problem. Doesn't have to be. Again, yes, it usually is negative, but you could use it positively, I suppose. Her success in the Olympics stems from the support of her parents as a child. I think you could use it in a positive way. And I know you could, because that sentence made perfect sense. Branch has more to do with one branch turning into two, turning into three, turning into four. Okay, separating, dividing, and becoming more. I think we'll see it soon enough. Luo, number 3, please.
Yes, we can't go blank more and more money into advertising when people don't want our products. We need new products and we need them fast. I guess it should be plowing.
Very good. Yes. Can't go on plowing more money, more and more money. Okay, this is a common, the whole thing is common. Plow more money into something. Means you keep, or we might say throwing money at a problem, or plowing money into something. I've plowed so much money into my house, even if I sell it at a profit, I'm going to end up losing money. Okay. I've plowed so much money into my car, I really need a new car. Okay, is the idea. All right, Nader's asking about branch. Yes, we do use branch frequently to talk about separate buildings, maybe in another town. Bank branches is the most famous. A national or even international, whatever. Bank will have branches, maybe even several branches in one city. It'll have, each small town will have a branch in that town. Definitely. I can't say subsidiary is not the same. The subsidiary is, let's see. Oh, okay. Coca-Cola company also produces water. I forget what it's called. Begins with an A. Ascent, Avila. I don't remember what it's called, but the water company, Avila, I'm making that up, I can't remember. Avila is a subsidiary of the Coca-Cola company. It is another company which is a branch of the company. But if I'm talking about a branch, I'm talking about a separate brick and mortar building that you can walk into, a building, not a company. So a subsidiary is kind of the same idea of a branch, but it's the branch of a major company. Daughter company, yeah, okay, that's closer to the idea, yeah. Son company, funny, guys, okay. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. All right. Anyway, Nader, next one here. Too many people in this organization have been doing the same thing for too long. We need to something out the weaker ones and retrain our best staff. Something out the weaker ones. Weed out. Yeah, that's right. Weed out the weaker ones and retrain our best staff. Okay, you weed out, you get rid of the ones that you don't want. Just like you get rid of the plants you don't want and you leave the beautiful flowers or the vegetables. Same idea. Also, the idea of cutting the dead wood is the same idea. You a little bit harsher even. You cut the dead wood in a business. You cut the people who are not productive. They're not making you money. They're not really doing anything. They're just there. They're there, but they're not useful. Just like a dead branch on a tree is there, but it's not useful. So you cut the dead wood. Fernanda,
Sorry, I have a question. Sorry.
Sure.
Why we should put once here? I think we need to weed out the weakers, probably. What his once means there?
It's used as a pronoun here. The weaker ones is a pronoun for people. Okay.
Okay.
I could say we need to weed out the weaker people.
Okay.
I'm using it as a non-specific pronoun here. I'm not, but the material is. Yeah. Okay. All right. Fernanda, number 5.
We are in the middle of a recession. That means oh, that means we all have to 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 wait to wait to wait on all unnecessary expense. That way we may survive the till better times.
Survive. We may live. If you don't survive, you die. We may survive till better
Survive.
times. Okay, we're in a recession. Okay, we have to do something to unnecessary expenses. I understand why you're saying weed out to get rid of, but the more natural phrase here is to cut back. All right, we have to cut back on all unnecessary expense. This is a very common phrase. We have to cut back on our spending. Very common. Okay. You can cut back on your consumption of sugar. You can cut back on how much coffee you drink. All right. You don't. It may actually make more sense. Actually, in this sentence, we'll have to weed out, but you would say weed out. Weed out goes together. Weed out all unnecessary expense actually makes more sense to me, because if it's unnecessary, you shouldn't have it at all. Cut back means reduce. Reduce a lot. All right. There is a kind of an emphasis on reduce a lot. Okay, but anyway, I can understand why you would say expense or expenses. Okay, this is one of those words in English that can be used in general sense. It can be used as an uncountable general noun, or you can talk about expenses as a plural if you have more in mind specific expenses. So it can really be either. Yeah, one of those tricky ones. Okay, Oksana, number 6.
Nice to say the business is starting um, starting to plowing again after a difficult.
No.
Flourish.
Flourish. Yes. Grow. That's right. The profits are up. Turnover is up. Morale is improving. Okay. Business is booming. There you go. Indeed. Flourishing. So if your business is flourishing, happy days. Hooray, hooray. Okay. I've mentioned this in several classes, but this is very British. In British business, turnover refers to gross amount of money, gross sales. How much money is all the money coming into the company? Of course, the profit is after you reduce that with your expenses, subtract the expenses, that's your profit. I do have to say that for an American, this is totally different. Turnover refers to how many of your staff are quit or retire, and how many new people and have to be replaced by others, and or replaced and trained by others. So different meaning there. For British and American, it's pretty important because it's a very different meaning, and it's common to both business lexicons. It's commonly used by Americans and British to talk about business, but it means something totally different. Okay. Luau, number 7. Yeah, that's it. Recruitment and attrition. That's right, Nader.
Yes,
Lua.
we've
Okay, there we
published
go.
adult fiction for the past 50 years, but we're planning to blank out into a couple of the new areas. Probably children's books and travel. I think it's branch out.
Indeed. There you go. Okay, so you can see that they're, you know, from the stem or from the trunk, they're moving out into, then often coupled with new areas, branching out into new areas, common phrase. So if the company branches out, it maybe introduces new products or services, it tries different new things. Yep, that's it. Nader, 2,000 replies this week. Our promotional campaign is beginning to bear fruit at last. Okay, you invest money and finally you start to get money back. Okay, your investment is bearing fruit. It's producing. Yes, indeed. Okay. We can use this in business, talking about money or investing. Certainly an advertising campaign, well, promotional, same thing, can bear fruit. Or I can say my years invested in university are finally bearing fruit. I've gotten a job based on my educational credentials, which is going to double my salary. Hooray, hooray. Okay, so anything really can bear fruit. Any investment in not just money, but also time or effort. Our efforts to throw a wonderful party bore fruit. Bore fruit. I can just say bore past tense. Our efforts to throw the most wonderful party of the year bore fruit. Everybody said it was the best party they'd ever been to. So it can be anything. Fernanda, here we go. Another set. Put the following words, same idea, into fill in the blank to form idioms. Fernanda, number 1.
Okay. If we want to be more efficient, we have to get rid of the get rid of the of the dead wood.
Deadwood. Yeah, let's get rid of the deadwood. Cut the deadwood. That's it. That's right. I mentioned this before, exactly like weed out people. And this is often used in business. Get rid of the deadwood. It's time this company got rid of the deadwood. There's too many people not doing anything. So, yep. This happens in business. A business suddenly wakes up and realizes it's wasting a lot of money on salary for people who do nothing. Okay, Oksana, number 2.
Our subsidiary in Papua is an I don't know. I am not very strong in the business.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have a guess? Kind of like a branch. Our subsidiary in Papua is an. Okay. Never mind. Oksana, I'm giving this back to you. There's an article and there's only one possible answer here.
Routing.
Oh, yes, offshoot.
No, it has to start with a vowel because we have and, not a.
Offshoot?
Yes, it has to be because offshoot starts with a vowel sound. There's no other choice. Couldn't possibly be any other answer.
Yes, but we can also put branch here, I think.
Right, but of course, grammatically, we can't. But is a branch of our main company. Kind of. Yeah, but the thing is, you might not because, as I explained earlier, a branch and a subsidiary, the idea is the same idea, yes, but because we have more specific meanings in business for subsidiary and branch, you probably would, to be clearer, use offshoot. Offshoot is just like a branch. It's just a branch of a plant. So it's really the same meaning. Yes, an offshoot is actually something that comes off the stem to form a new kind of stem. All right. Is it informal? No, I would say this is quite a formal sentence, actually. I wouldn't characterize it as formal or informal. Actually, if anything, more formal, possibly. Okay. Anyway, yes, Oksana?
There's question before lesson finished. Because for me
Sure.
it's very interesting what the people gardening in Filipina would have some berries or some gardening or not, or maybe some trees on only wild, only
Oh my
wild,
goodness.
or it's very
Oh yeah,
different.
there's a lot of agriculture here. Okay, a lot of agriculture. I live where I live is at the base of the mountains, but stretching out to my south, east, and west for hundreds of kilometers is nothing but rice paddies. Okay, if I go more south, there's going to be pineapple, banana plantation, pineapple, banana, coconut, mango, lots of fruit plantations. In the north, there are a great deal of vegetable plantations. They grow a lot of vegetables, mostly in the northern part of the country. Tomatoes, carrots, potatoes, onions. There's a lot of agriculture here. Plenty.
Thank you, because I think in Philippines I have only sea and sand. No,
No.
no.
No. We have they're volcanic islands and they're quite large. So volcanic soil, the soil or dirt, is very rich in nutrients. So plants grow very, very well here. Actually, it's very easy to grow plants outside here. It's very easy. The climate's like perfect, and the soil is all volcanic, nitrogen-rich soil. So we live in the city, but we have a little strip of land in front of our house. Basically, just throw some seeds at the ground, and 2 weeks later, you're growing tomatoes or potatoes or onions or whatever. It's pretty easy to grow things here. It's hard to stop them, as a matter of fact. Okay. All right. Where are we here? Luau, number 3.
Well, we are planning to relocate in Scotland, but the blank process will be difficult for many of the workforce. But the uprooting, I guess.
Yes, exactly. If someone sets roots in a community or in an area, they buy a house, their children are in school, they have their money in the local banks. All right, you've put down roots. You're there. You're firmly there. So if you're going to have to relocate to another country, you're going to have to tear up your roots or uproot. Yes, that's exactly the idea. Very good. Nader, our local business college manages to produce an excellent something of keen young potential managers year after year. Okay. College manages to produce an excellent what? Nader? Are you there? Nope. Nope. Anybody? Nope. Anybody have an idea? They produce. Okay. Just thinking about plants and farming and all that, what we were just talking about. I was just talking to Oksana about how Philippines produces a lot of agriculture. Farmers produce crops. Thank you, Amira, wherever you are. You're absolutely correct. They produce an excellent crop of potential managers. So yes, we can use crops in a more abstract way to mean something is producing a large amount of something. Okay. So, all right. Okay. Let's see, the art department has produced a crop of ideas for the new promotional giveaway. Okay. A large amount of something that is produced in an abstract way. We can use crops. Okay, we're out of time, so let me just quickly run through the last ones here. The something of ideas is essential in any business. I'm going to have to say the cross-fertilization of ideas. All right. Producing ideas. Cross-fertilization involves there are male and female plants. They have to cross-fertilize, just like male and female humans do. Well, not exactly the same way. We don't need bees. Okay, anyway. We keep losing staff to firms who pay more than we can afford. It's a perennial problem for our firm of our size. Perennial means it comes back again and again and again. Just like plants, they go away in the fall, there's snow, and then in the spring they come back. So this problem is perennial. Very common co-location. A perennial problem keeps returning. All right, number 7, I did all the groundwork or spade work, okay, setting up the new department. My boss got all the credit. Spade work or groundwork, these are interchangeable. They mean all the base work to set things up. That's right. The initial research, the initial gathering permits, whatever, all that work that has to be done before something can really start is the groundwork or the spade work. And last, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Indeed, they shouldn't, of course. This expression, Nader, has the same proverb. It is, in fact, a proverb, and it basically means, all right, unless you are absolutely perfect, okay, unless you've never made any faults, you shouldn't criticize others, is basically the idea. All right, quick finish, but we're over time and I've got to go. As Luo knows, it's my lunchtime. So thank you all very much. I hope you learned a few idioms, and we'll see you again real soon here on Verbaling. Bye.
Thank you. Bon appetit.
Oh, thank you.